Leaseholders are to be handed stronger rights to enable them to challenge extortionate service charges more easily. These reforms will also introduce a strict qualification regime for managing agents. Our political correspondent Liz Bates has been speaking to owners of leasehold flats about what the changes could mean for them.
We will reiterate our commitment to act to bring the feudal leasehold system to an end.
Our long-term plan will free leaseholders from the tyranny of a medieval system.
They're long overdue, promised reforms to a system successive governments have called feudal, corrupt and a scam, that has for decades been trapping homeowners, leaving them at the mercy of leaseholders and managing agents, treating them, they say, like a cash machine. Chris and Pauline know this all too well as they both own leasehold flats in a shared development in North London. We spoke to them back in March this year.
Last year, mine was budgeted at 6,300. They overspend, and the actual figure was nearly 8,600. So, I get a bill for 2,300-ish.
And how do you feel when those bills come through the door? Because you have no idea how much they're going to be.
I feel awful. I feel powerless. No one calls you and says, "We're aware this is a bit much," or no one cares. It's just, and when you call, they just don't care. They just want you to pay. So it's just, it's insane.
Housing associations are a central part of the leasehold system.
I think it's a challenging system. I think particularly where you have low-income households living in high-density blocks in inner cities, when any costs increase unexpectedly, that is going to be a challenge. And as I said, we've been living through a period of hyperinflation.
Changes to this system have been a long time coming. We've been speaking to people about leasehold for many months now, but in Westminster the calls for reform go back years, often led by Labour. Well, now they've been in government for a year and they're finally getting on with it. Critics say, though, that it all needs to happen much more quickly. They say this is just the start.
Leaseholders across the country, once these reforms are enacted, will get a standardised service charge form with full transparency about costs, both at the point it's served and throughout the process, so that they have a better awareness of how the charges are being calculated, what they're being spent on. And that will allow leaseholders to then more easily challenge unreasonable service charges.
Those at the centre of this scandal suffering financially will be scrutinising the announcement and hoping that the long wait for real reform is finally over. Liz Bates, Sky News, Westminster.